As a rural reporter, I've filmed the havoc camels wreak in outback Australia, as well as the carnage of regular culling. For years, people have been crying out for them to be eradicated. But the folks I'm about to meet have a better idea. Instead of shooting them, they're milking them in a 100% renewable camel dairy.
Well, I'm TJ Hill. TJ is short for Tara J, and my husband is Warwick. We have created Humpalicious Camel Farm down here in Robe. Warwick and I met on a boat. It's a bit of a romantic story. He was the captain, and I never got off the boat. I'm a chef, and Warwick being a skipper, we kind of teamed up together and worked on super yachts all over the world, and we did that for a good sort of 8 to 10 years before we decided to make the change to the land and the country. And have always dreamt of having a farm next to the ocean, so it has really manifested and come true.
Hello. I know I'm in the right place, obviously.
Hello, good morning.
Hello. Wow, they're tame. This is not what I expected at all.
You want a kiss?
Oh, look, we'll work up to that. It's first date, you know, got to take things slow.
Yeah, well, this is about 6 or 7 years worth of work, particularly on these girls, to get them from completely wild to touchable and domesticated.
Wow. How did you guys end up doing this? It seems like a bit of an odd job, to be fair.
It's a little odd. But Warwick's history goes way back to the desert and the Pitjantjatjara people and camels. So everything just did a 360 almost, and after we'd had enough of life on the ocean, we went back to Warwick's roots.
How did you come to know about camels then, Warwick?
That's an interesting story. I was rabbit shooting out in the Pitjantjatjara lands, and a very good friend of mine, an elder, just asked me one day, hey, what about we go and catch some camels? And I didn't even know there were any camels around, so I said, yeah, sure. We had no idea what we were doing. 6 months of getting kicked and knocked around, and we caught 2 big bull camels, bigger than this guy, and we ended up mustering camels for about 8 years.
I suppose on the ocean for 8 years working in these environments, I came across a lot of people with food intolerances, allergies. So when we went back to the desert, we met a couple who told us about camel milk. I was told that it was non-allergenic, that people with lactose and casein allergies did great with it and thrived on it, and also autistic children thrived on it. So I did a bit of research, and there's enough research all over the world to convince me that, yes, there's something to this. He had the skills to catch the camels, I had the skills to deal with the product. The market's sitting there waiting. It's a brand new industry, it's pioneering. So magic, I don't know.
The sun's getting up. That must mean it's time to do something around here. It is a farm.
Yeah.
Can I help out with anything?
Yep, you can come down and milk some camels with us if you like.
Okay. This may shock you. Usually, most days, I don't milk camels.
Come on. That's a good girl.
Here we go.
That's a good girl.
Come on, guys. Girls.
That's
Definitely
good.
girls would be. It's so big.
Walk up, Murray.
Hi. You can't just go to the shop and buy camel milking equipment. Warwick has had to knock up a homemade solution from goat and cow gear.
The difference between camels and cows at present is that cows have been bred for milking, and these camels are designed for survival, not for large production of milk. So cow would give you 20 to 25 litres of milk in one sitting. These guys will only give us 3 to 4 litres.
So these guys have their calves around. That's unusual.
It suits us and it suits the camels. The calves just get separated at the night before we milk. So if we're milking today, I separated them last night. Immediately after milking, they'll go back together for the rest of the day. The calves keep the milk flowing. Of course, they get to drink it and we don't get to sell it, but that keeps them happy.
So it's an ethical decision you've made.
It's an ethical and a lifestyle decision. If we had to take the calves away at birth and do it like that, we're not interested. This thing basically sucks on by itself. I'll turn the thing on first.
There we go.
That's it. Nice and central. You're good. Come back out of there now. Good to go.
And we're away.
Well done.
Thank you. I've heard this referred to as white gold. How much does it fetch?
It sells for around about $20 a litre in the open market. It's a small, high-value product, so we only milk a few litres. It's quite a lot of work. It's very intensive, but there is a demand for it.
TJ and Warwick sell their milk to the health market, as well as shipping powdered camel milk around Australia and into Asia.
Oh, have a try of that.
All this talk of camel milk and I haven't actually tried it. Wow, it's got an almost slight tartness to it at the front, but then the creaminess at the end. It's so not what I expected. I don't know what I expected.
A lot of people expect gamey, strong. It's not at all, it's quite mild.
It's actually easier to drink than cow's milk in the sense
It
it's
is.
softer. Like,
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. You obviously have your camels and you got them from the wild, so if they were feral, does that mean they were free and a bit of a cheap setup for the operation?
Yeah, kind of. We caught about 600 camels to get our herd of what's now 50 camels. And the rest of them we sold off, and that went to the Indigenous landowners.
They're big animals. Transporting a camel must cost a lot.
Transport is horrendous. We can give you an indication of a triple rig which carries 54 camels would be about $20,000 per trip.
It took us 12 trips with the truck in all just to move the camels. So, and it's a return journey empty.
We had heaps of obstacles. When we bought this farm, it was just vacant land. We didn't have power, we didn't have water, we didn't have anywhere to live. We had nothing here. So in 3 years, we've pretty much put in major infrastructure, standalone renewable power. So finally, we feel like 3 years down the track, we're there and we're operating and getting better and better.
Just a lot of blood, sweat and tears,
Yeah.
and probably swear words in the meantime.
Plenty.
Whoa. Milk isn't the only thing camels produce.
There we go.
It's like an actual fleece. They grow very thick wool in winter. In summer, they molt. TJ and Warwick bag it up and take it to a nearby brewery. Come bearing camel gifts.
Thank you.
Christy? This is Christy.
Great name. So what are you doing here, Christy?
So I am carding the wool. It basically cleans the wool and gets all the seeds and the dust and dirt out. And then it's ready to be spun after that.
Oh,
Off the camel's back this morning.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so soft and light. Like candy floss.
So I will spin it and then make it into a beanie.
In fact, Christy and TJ made me spin the wool. I apologise in advance if I'm no Rumpelstiltskin, anyway.
Let's see if you can spin as well as
I
you
don't
milk
even
camels.
think I can get it going. Oh my God. My coordination was not made for this.
It's just a matter of practice, so you just kind of...
I might be here for 4 years. Whoa, 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 whoa. Am I massacring this and you're watching on with horror?
No, that's okay. We all have to start
That's
somewhere.
a really polite yes. In return for the wool, Christy gives TJ and Warwick a waste product of the brewing process, the grain used to make beer.
The camels eat the grain after it's been brewed, so it's slightly fermented and is quite good for their guts, and they love it.
Rather than putting them in a bin, we can actually give it to TJ and Warwick and they can use it for the camels, so...
And it's the same with us for the wool. Instead of having bags and bags of wool sitting around, we give it to Christy and she utilises it.
So it's like the old-fashioned bartering. You get some wool.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And then you get this. Show.
Why don't you try it on?
Give it a whirl. Yep. Hat hair 1, hat hair 2. Am I
Excellent, looking very
Beautiful.
good.
at my hipster best?
It actually looks really good.
Yeah, it does.
People could consider this quite a risky venture, throwing it all in for a camel farm. It's up there.
Yeah, I mean, everything's a bit of a risk, but you know, what's the worst that can happen?
Have you had any doubters along the way that have really questioned what you're doing and made you think, geez, maybe it's not a very good idea?
Yeah, sure. There's always naysayers, and you know, I've seen that all throughout my life in every kind of field. But you know, that kind of just steals me a little bit more
Spurs you on.
to prove it can be done.
I'll show them.
Yeah,
That is
sure.
absolutely a true reflection of Warwick's nature.
Yeah, you know,
Take it by the balls and run with it.
The camel balls.
The camel balls.
I like it. It's my new motto too.